What's up, y'all? Welcome to the On the Come Up podcast, where creative entrepreneurs share their come up journeys that turn their passions into success. I'm your host, Kimberly, so let's get started. What is up, guys? We are back with another episode. Today we are here with Kayla.
Hey!
Kayla is an actor, model, and a director. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great today. It's Friday. I'm so blessed to be on this podcast. How are you?
Good, yeah. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for coming.
Of course.
I wanted to, so which one came first for you? Acting, modeling, or directing? Because those are all like hand in hand in some way.
Yeah, great question. I would say acting definitely came first. I got bit by the acting bug when I was 9. I loved watching Disney Channel, and Raven Simone was at the time watching That's So Raven. That was like my favorite Disney Channel show, and I watched her. I was like, you know, I could be that. I could do that. And then I auditioned for my very first commercial with my family. It was for a Corn Pops commercial. And I was the only one that they called back. And when I knew that, I was like, okay, this is probably something that I can, actually pursue. And then it kind of like just took off from there. I did theater in middle school. I stopped a bit in high school for a while to focus on sports. And then I studied theater for a bit in college. Then I stopped for a while again. And then I got serious again about it in 2019, and I've been acting ever since.
Wait, I want to trickle back. You said a Corn Pop commercial?
A Corn Pops commercial. I feel like I'm dating myself. I'm not that old, y'all, I promise.
No, because that cereal was like my favorite cereal growing up. Like I could eat it straight out of the box.
Yes, me too. That's why I was so excited to do it.
Yeah, like you don't need any kind of milk. I was like straight out of the box. Yeah.
Yeah, back when I used to eat cereal. I really don't eat cold cereal anymore, but yeah, that was definitely one of the primary cereals.
Right. So how did modeling and directing like follow after?
So funny enough, growing up, I would always get asked like, oh, do you model? You're so tall. You have a great look and stuff like that. And my focus was on acting and sports. All of my sisters, I have 3 sisters, and our parents had us in like all types of sports. So that was like really my main focus, not modeling. But then, the more that you hear about it, the more that you're like, well, let me go ahead and try that. And so when I was little, my mom actually had me and my little sister. We did like some hair modeling shoots, so it started with that. And then me and my older sister would try to submit for agencies for a bit. Then like we fell off of that to focus on other things. And then I would say I got serious about modeling again and having a modeling career, not again until 2019. And that was after like I had my confidence kind of like set back because one of the agencies that I really wanted to sign with, I didn't, make it in. And at the time, it was because like my hips were apparently too big, and which is crazy. I felt like I was skinnier then than I am now, but but the rules have changed. A lot of modeling agencies are way more like inclusive, so.
So what was like the moment that you knew this was the path that you wanted to pursue? Because it sounds like you went back to both acting and modeling in 2019. So was that the significant like time that was like, okay?
Yeah, I would say because it was after that, I was 2 years it was 2 years post-undergrad. I was still kind of figuring out, my next steps, what I wanted to do. I had a communications degree. and a minor in theater. And that's a whole nother story because I was majoring in theater, but then my school took away the theater major and I had to switch. And but so I was trying to figure out like how can I get back to my dreams. And I'm like, if I'm gonna do it, I gotta start somewhere. And I decided 2019 was going to be the year that I did that after I got my first full-time job. And it wasn't fulfilling enough just doing like a corporate job. Mm-hmm. I was like, I have other dreams. I need to get back to it. So that was just the year that I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go for it. And then 2020 happened. But
So when did directing follow after? How long?
Funny enough, directing actually came about in 2016 when I was in college. It was right after I had to switch my major, because what happened is that my undergrad school, it was a agricultural and mechanical school, an A&M school, and not Texas A&M, another A&M. And they didn't really value the arts as much, and they said that the theater program wasn't graduating enough students, so they were like, well, it's not really worth keeping this program as a major, so we're just gonna nix it. And that kind of left those of us who were already in the major in like a really bad position. So we were given like 3 choices. We could either switch schools, or we could stay on and complete the major, but I didn't want to do that because they weren't funding it anymore and a lot of professors were leaving. Or 3, we could switch our major and to something that our credits already aligned with, and I decided to just switch my major, which was better for me in the long run because I already had a scholarship there and I didn't want to lose my scholarship. So when I switched my major to communications, that's when I discovered in one of my classes, I can't remember what class, it wasn't even a film class, I think it was just one of like my broadcast journalism classes, and can't believe I'm blanking out on the name of this professor, but he was amazing. I loved him so much. There was quite a few professors that actually helped me during this transition. I'm really grateful for them. Shout out to my Prairie View A&M professors. And they had their second annual festival on the Hill going on, and I'm like, what is that? And so they told me it was a film festival that was going across like all of Houston and Dallas. Anybody could submit a film. So I was like, well, I've never made a film before in my life, and the requirements were you shoot on an iPhone, you have to use an artist, you have to use tape, and then you have to use the words, you can look but don't touch. Those were the only requirements. And I was like, great, because all I have is an iPhone. I didn't have any professional equipment or anything like that, any experience. It seemed great for like beginners. And then I thought I could use it as a way to tell the school just how important like the arts are. I was like, and we have to use an artist? This is just meant to be. Yeah. This must be God telling me that I need to do this. So I took a shot at it, and I'm glad I stuck with it because a lot of things didn't go as planned. I didn't feel like I knew what I was doing. And I didn't turn it in until the night before. The day that it was due, I didn't finish editing it. And I'm lucky that I took editing classes in my theater program. And I was about to leave. I was walking out. I didn't have my own computer at the time. I was using a computer in the library. And I was walking out because I'm like, this is just too much. And then something told me to like go back and finish it. So I went back. I finished it. I turned it in. And I ended up winning Best Film for the festival and Best Cinematography. And I was the first woman at the school to do so. And that's when I was like, you know what? I think I could do this too. But then after that I stopped for a little bit. I stopped until 2017. Then that's when I made my second film. It was called Help. And I used my little sister, and it was about mental health, and specifically depression. I submitted that to, and I don't know if this film festival is still around, but I submitted it to the Dallas Black Film Festival, and that won Best Documentary Narrative Short. And so I was like, okay, I'm on a little bit of a roll here. So it's funny because directing actually came right after acting, and modeling was last. So.
Oh, okay. So have you done any recent directing with short films?
I have. So in 2019 is also when I met a really good friend of mine, and who is now my co-director on almost all of my projects. His name is Vinay George. Shout out Vinay if you see this. I met him when he was just doing photography, and I was modeling, and I was trying to build up my portfolio. And I think we either met on a Facebook group or on Instagram or something like that. And we're like, hey, let's collab, let's do a shoot together. And then, we worked really well. And then we found out that we both, were trying to get into filmmaking. And I told him that I've made some short films before. And he told me he's working on, films. He was a YouTuber. And I was like, yeah, let's create together. So our very first film together is called Snap. We made that in 2021 and released early 2022. Yeah, end of 2021, I think we released that one. That was our first one. And then we just wrapped up filming, I believe, what is our second short together. It's called Forever Young. It's a sci-fi, romantic film about a young woman who is lonely, and she finds love in her VR reality world. But then eventually, things start crumbling. And so it's that one we're still editing, but I'm very excited about that one. I think it's one of our best ones yet. And we've also worked on a few what's called experimental shorts together. And we've made two what we call commercial spots together. And it's our own version of a commercial spot. We did one for Apple, and then we just finished one for Nike. So.
Oh, it sounds like you have your hands full. Are you going to submit this film to a film festival as well once you all get done editing?
So our latest one, we want to. We're considering our options and seeing what deadlines there are going to be once we finish it up. We wanted to submit it to Diff Shorts. That's the Dallas International Film Festival. But we weren't finished editing in time. So there's other, festivals coming up, but we definitely plan on submitting it.
For your acting, do you have a specific dream role?
Ooh, that's a great question. Yeah, if I'm gonna say one dream role other than eventually having my own TV show, I would say to be a spy. I love
spy?
that.
That's so funny because I told myself the other day I wanted to be a detective.
Really?
Yeah, in a TV series,
I can see that, Law and Order type of thing. Yes,
Yeah.
I think Law and Order is going to be around forever, so.
Right. How do you keep your confidence high?
That's great. I keep my confidence high by just remembering whose and who I am. I'm a woman of faith. So I strongly believe that I'm here for a purpose. And knowing that regardless of, any obstacles that I go through, any trials, tribulations, like I know that it's all aligned with my purpose, and that gives me confidence. And also being able to look back at the things that I have done and being able to remember like past accomplishments, it gives me, that boost that I need to remember, like, especially if I'm feeling down or like I experience a rejection, which you're going to experience a lot in this industry. It reminds me like, okay, wait a minute. You've like, remember the things you've done, what you're capable of. Like, you can do this. You can keep moving forward. So,
I love that. A little confidence goes a long way, like a pep talk to ourselves,
Yes.
What's your approach to working with actors either on set or directing?
I would say my first approach is to find their why. Because especially being an actor, it helps me understand, how to coach them to get what I want out of them better. And then knowing their why, like, why they want to do this, why they wanted to take on this character. It helps me direct them in the direction of their why to bring out that character. And also I tell them to focus more on the emotion than the words themselves. Like if they feel like that the words on the page don't really resonate with them, or they feel like they could say it in a different way that makes it more real to them and how they interpret the character, I'm like, yeah, go for it. Because I love when directors do that for me. They give me creative freedom. So I approach actors with giving them the freedom to express themselves creatively in their way.
What would you say your most favorite is, like working production side or being like talent?
That's I really love both.
Yeah.
I really enjoy both. I want it, to me it's like whatever gets my foot in the door first. I would love to first focus on like acting myself and get like that part of my dream out the way, and then eventually go into directing, producing. But I've seen so many creators that continually, do both. Like, nowadays it's all about creating your own content. That's what I keep hearing. Yeah. Like, create your own. Like, you kind of, and sometimes it sucks because, like, wearing so many hats. Because, like, I think about like, sometimes all I just want to do is act. Like, I don't want to have to think about, the camera settings or the lighting or like where this needs to be placed. Like, I just want to be the actress, But at the end of the day, it's worth it because I also really enjoy seeing something that I envision, like on paper, like being brought to life. And it's definitely one of the most satisfying feelings.
Right, you're like, yeah, I did that. Right?
Yeah, right. I had a hand in that.
What's something people don't see like behind the scenes that you wish more individuals like understood?
That is a beautiful question. I think a lot of people don't understand the mental battles you'll face when you are putting yourself out there, whether you're putting yourself out there in front of the camera or you're putting yourself out there by saying like, hey, I'm creating this project, come be a part of it, or I just created this project, come watch it, or, support it, donate it to it. I think everyone struggles with self-doubt, but I don't think people realize, like, when you're in the midst of creating, I think people, they see like the highs of it and think it's so cool, but they don't understand like how many times you may have to fight against like your own self-doubt and imposter syndrome. And because I think it takes a lot of bold courage to believe like, why not me? Why can't I do this? So I think fighting, that self-doubt and faking it until you make it, basically. Like, doing the thing that you know you want to do until you can claim that is who you are. I think a lot of people want to act and direct and model, and they don't feel like they can call themselves that until they reach a certain place. But I think the more that you actually do something, it's not long before you can say that, well, yeah, that's what I am, whether I'm at the top of my market, or not. And so I don't think a lot of people realize how much self-doubt that they have to fight to reach that.
No, I love that, because like in the very beginning when I started modeling, I was like, I don't feel like a model. I haven't done anything. I just went to like a modeling school, Yeah. And then so it's kind of like, like that self-doubt, like just because we don't have like much to show for it doesn't mean like we're not what we say what we are, because we're working towards that,
Exactly. Yeah. Like, just because we're not like A-listers, or people think like, oh yeah, you're an actor and model, oh, have you done like this magazine, or are you acting with Zendaya or something like that? Like, no, not yet. but this is what, like, I'm doing the work. And especially if you've reached a point where you get paid for that work, like, you can say, you're a working actor, you're a working model, like, you're doing the thing.
Right. What has been your proudest moment?
In like my career?
Yes.
That's a good question. I feel like I might change this later on, like, but my proudest moment in my career so far would have to be, I would say my proudest moment in my career so far is being in my first theatrically released movie. I had a small part, and the editing didn't turn out the way I thought it would in the final edit, but I was so proud that I had reached a point in my career where I was in an independent production that was being screened in, nationally in theaters. So that's definitely my proudest moment so far that I could think of right at the top of my head.
Well, that's awesome still,
Yeah.
And theater is hard work. Yeah.
Yeah, girl, because it's especially when you're doing this in Texas, like, and the opportunities like that are not, as plentiful as like in, Atlanta or LA or New York, even Chicago still. But I'm really confident, especially with how things have been going. Like, Dallas is coming up there.
Right.
Like, it's coming up there.
Well, what advice would you give to someone who wants to pursue, either acting, modeling, or filmmaking?
I would say you have to be your own number one fan, and by that I mean you have to cheer yourself and champion yourself harder than anyone else, because at the end of the day, nobody's going to believe in you and your vision and see you where you see yourself better than you. So I would say And I hope it doesn't sound cliche to say that believe in yourself, but believe in yourself harder than anybody else. Sometimes we need somebody else to say, like, I believe in you, which is great, but you have to constantly say that to yourself. And then you have to show it to yourself by acting on your beliefs, by like, okay, I believe I'm going to be, a model, so I am going to go to that open casting call, or I believe I am going to be, the actress that I want to be, so I am going to continue auditioning. And I believe that I am going to be like a director, producer, so I'm going to go ahead and put in the work to make this film. So you got to be your greatest champion. I would say that, and keep going. I hear that, all the time as well, but that every time I hear it, it's so true. 'Cause like you get to a point where it's just like, you get tired, or, you can get discouraged, but, that's when you gotta champion and encourage yourself and keep going. 'Cause, there's this really good saying,
the one I'm thinking of is, if you don't believe in yourself, then no one else will. Yeah.
That part. And then the other one is like, as long as the train stays on the track, is going to get to where it's going. So basically, don't let your train stop where it is. If you continue going, it's eventually going to get to its destination.
Oh, I love that. I actually haven't heard of that.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I feel like I heard it a long time ago and it just stayed with me. So
So we're going to play a little this or that, acting, filmmaking edition.
Ooh.
So acting or directing?
Right now, acting.
Script or improv?
Script.
Drama or comedy?
Ooh, dramedy.
I like what you did there. Glam shoot or natural?
Ooh, I love getting glammed up, but I love a good natural.
Netflix or movie theater night?
Ooh, Netflix.
Yeah.
I don't always feel like going out, so Netflix is great.
That's funny. Okay. Kayla, well, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your journey. You gave a lot of good stuff, so you guys get your notebooks out and go back if you have to. You said a lot of good, informative things, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate you for having me. I hope I wasn't too long-winded and wordy, but I really appreciate the opportunity. Thank you so much.
Can anyone watch your films anywhere?
Yes. So you can watch my most recent work on my YouTube. You just type in Kayla Gilchrist for right now. I haven't rebranded anything. And yeah, that's where you can watch my most recent work that I've made right now. Everything hasn't been released on there yet, but head over to YouTube, and then also my Instagram at kgchrist313.
Well, Kayla, thank you so much.
Yay, thank you. This has been fun.
You guys, don't forget to subscribe, and you can find On the Come Up podcast at onthecomeuppod.com. I think maybe I messed that up, but it's in the description.
Right, bloopers.
We'll see you guys in 2 weeks.